Hello guys and welcome to Stevie C TV. This is the Premier League weekend review for game week 12. It's a bit late, but we're here. We've brought it to you. I've managed to get some time to bring it to you and give you all the results that happened last weekend. Obviously we are into the international break now and not much really of interest for the international period to what we believe for England would be relatively easy fixtures. So we can only wait and see what happens with those fixtures for England. But as for the Premier League, the main thing for that is breaking down what's happened, because we've had probably one of the best Premier League games ever in Chelsea, Man City. Chelsea seem to be quite the entertaining team at the moment. 2 games on the bounce now where they've actually had quite a few goals. So we'll go through that in a minute. But first game we'll talk about is Wolves versus Spurs, and that was 2-1 to Wolves. I actually said this would be 2-1 to Spurs. Spurs went early with the Johnson goal. Went 1-0 up in 3 minutes. So they did really well there to start off strong. Obviously they're carrying a few injuries, key players that are missing. You've got full new partnership at the back with Van der Ven and Romero out. You've also got Maddison out injured. So they are missing key players. Udogie, red card. There's a left back for you that needs to be played. So they were missed, and that is one factor into why Spurs did lose this game. But like I say, Spurs went on to go 1-0 up. Looked like they were going to do well. But Wolves wanted this more. They really wanted it. After watching the highlights, it's shown in the last 10 minutes or so in the game that Wolves just pushed and pushed and pushed. They eventually got the equaliser in the 91st minute with a Sarabia goal. And then Lamina actually got the winner in the 97th minute of this game. And that gave Wolves a key 3 points. And Spurs aren't in trouble. But these injuries and these red cards that came in this Chelsea game are playing a factor. And will they play a factor in future fixtures? Only time will tell. As for the next game though, guys, we have Arsenal versus Burnley. I said Arsenal win this 3-0 and it was 3-1. Burnley actually managed to break down the defence and get a goal. First though, Odegaard didn't play. I expected him to actually return in this squad, but he didn't. But I'm assuming after the international fixtures, he will return. As for the first goal, though, Trossard managed to get the first goal just before half-time, which put Arsenal in good stead ready for the second half. Obviously, Burnley, tough side to break down, but once you do break them down, they do tend to fall apart a little bit. So, but saying that, Burnley got the equaliser with Brownhill in the second half, and it went 1-1. And you wouldn't have thought they would have actually got a goal against Arsenal. Arsenal got a strong defence. Players like Saliba in there and Gabriel. Saliba being the better of the two, I believe, but obviously that's your own opinion. Talking to Saliba though, they got a quick response, Arsenal, and Saliba got the goal with that one to make it 2-1. Put Burnley back on the back foot again. And then Zinchenko finished it off to make it 3-1. And later in that game, Vieira got a red card. And he a bit nasty tackle, studs up, if I believe correctly. I might be getting that mixed up with another one later on. But yeah, that's Vieira got a red card, so he'll be missed in the next game. But I don't think he's a key player for them. I think he sits in that midfield. But he usually sits on the bench. So when Odegaard's back, if Odegaard's back, then he will start anyway. So I don't think Vieira is going to be a big miss for Arsenal. But they are up there in the league. Next game though, Palace 2, Everton 3. So Everton didn't wait for this one. They got a goal within the first minute of this game. Mikolenko, left back. Not the first player you put on your score sheet for first goal. But obviously he did, and that put Everton in good stead. Sean Dyche seems to look like he's getting the team playing a little bit, so well done to Sean Dyche. Palace then got a penalty later on in the game. I've actually not seen the highlights of this one, so I can't have too much of an opinion on it. But the penalty was given, and Eze finished the penalty there. Decore then made it 2-1, and then Edouard wasn't having any of it. Crystal Palace ended up going 2-2 with an Edouard goal, and then Idrissa Gueye for Everton finished it off with a 3-2 win, 86 minutes. So to go, like I say, back and forward in that game, but to go with Everton win there, and I believe I put Everton to win that game last time. But Everton are getting the points that they deserve at the minute. After speaking on this, actually, Everton have actually just had a 10-point reduction, which puts them tied bottom with Burnley on 4 points. So I put the end of the video, I will put the league table up, and hopefully it'll have that updated bit on there. If not, then yes, they are 19th currently, better goal difference than Burnley, and only 2 points off the bottom, so I think they can still survive even with this 10-point deduction, but only time will tell, and we've got a lot of the season to go. But Sean Dyche has got Everton playing and winning games again, and for an Everton fan, they must be happy with that. They've got to be happy with that. On to the next game though, guys. We have got Man United versus Luton. I've already done my matchday vlog on this one, but I said United would win this 3-1 convincingly. It was 1-0 and it wasn't convincing at all. Was it a pretty match? Nope. But 3 points is what we needed as United, and 3 points is what we got. So getting those 3 points is key for United at the minute. They are down as the most informed team, believe it or not, at the moment in the last 5 games. Only losing one of those against Manchester City. So yes, they haven't looked convincing, but yes, we are picking up the points that we need in the Premier League. Surrounded by other losses elsewhere in cup competitions, but we are getting the points in the Premier League. As for the actual game though, Wan-Bissaka did miss the game through illness. It wasn't an injury or anything like that. He's ill, and he ended up missing that game, and hopefully he'll be back in the next game, because he was a big miss in this one. I feel like his attacking play helps with the players like Rashford and stuff, where they overlap on the right hand side, and whoever's there, no, it doesn't even have to be Rashford, it could be Anthony, it could be Garnacho if he's playing there. Just in general, the overlap from Wan-Bissaka is amazing, and it works a lot, and I think that's how Ten Hag wants to play with Wan-Bissaka in the squad. I don't think he wants Dalot in the squad, and I think Wan-Bissaka needs to be in there. But United got the much needed win and a much needed goal after struggling with Højlund and Garnacho missing what they should have scored, and United need to be more clinical in these games. Luton defended very, very well, but like I say, United managed to get the breakdown on that one, and Lindelof was the guy to get on the score sheet. Not the first name you put on there, but he was the winning goal in the end, so well done to him. As for the next game though, we have Bournemouth versus Newcastle. That finished 2-0 to Bournemouth. Not the result anybody expected. I don't think anybody actually went for Newcastle to lose. I had Newcastle to win, not convincingly. I thought it'd be a tough game because Bournemouth are obviously played well and got a big win in the week before. Got beat by City, sorry, not a big win. They got beat by City 6-1, so they wanted to bounce back really quick off the back of that. And they did. And Solanke was the guy that did it for them. He got the double. He scored both goals. And Bournemouth really probably weren't the best side, but they deserved a point at least in this one. And they countered very, very well on every chance that Newcastle had. They'd get straight back up the other end of the pitch and just counter out on Newcastle. Newcastle didn't look themselves, missing Botman at the back, starting to look quite crucial now, especially Champions League seems to be kicking in, especially in terms of the fitness of the players and the full strength of the squad. Trippier has been seen speaking to the fans, and it has gone viral, telling the fans that basically you can't expect us to get too many results because this is the squad at the minute. We have injuries. What do you expect? It's like, obviously we are trying on the pitch, and good on him. That's what you want from your captain. You want him to go and speak to the fans when they're not happy. And it was 3 points that they should be winning, Newcastle, but obviously big 3 points for Bournemouth in the end, and they ended up getting the big win. So well done to Bournemouth. Unlucky for Newcastle, really. Next game is Villa versus Fulham. I had this down for 2-1 to Villa. It was 3-1 Villa. So Villa get back to winning ways. They started with an own goal from Robinson, getting the 1-0 lead. Then McGinn made it 2 just before half-time. Ollie Watkins then makes it 3. Looks like a convincing win straight off the bat there against Fulham. But Fulham did get the goal back that nobody expected. Well, I said nobody expected. They got the goal back from a goal scorer that nobody expected in Raul Jimenez, who hasn't scored in 33 games. So getting that goal for him is going to give him a bit of confidence, because he was a great player under Wolves before the injury. So maybe he starts getting on the score sheet for Fulham, and him replacing Mitrovic might be a good shout now. So let's see what Jimenez does. Obviously Fulham ain't going to get too excited off the back of that, but I'm sure they will do well in the future with Jimenez. But right now they got no points in that game, and Villa got 3 points, keeping them in a really good spot near the top of the league. So doing well, Villa. Next game is Brighton versus Sheffield. I had this as Brighton to win 3-1. It actually finished 1-1 Brighton and Sheffield. Matt Burnley didn't return in this game, and none of the players I actually thought it said in the team news were going to return, or looked like they were going to return, did return. So Enciso didn't come back. A couple of Brighton players, I think it was Estupinan was the other one. However, Brighton got off with an early goal. Adringa, however you pronounce his name, I never get it right every time I talk it. Every time I say it, sorry. But yeah, he scored, and that put Brighton on a good front foot. I never expected Sheffield to do anything against this side. Brighton are a strong team, and they are very underrated. However, in the second half, Dahoud, the midfielder, got a red card. Again, not seen the actual red card challenge or anything like that, but he's got the red card, and it changed the game. Brighton just couldn't get another goal in them. They kind of just sat back a little bit, only for Webster to get an own goal in the second half. And Sheffield United getting a very, very big point against one of the tougher sides in the Premier League. Now, Brighton, again, without a clean sheet. I didn't think they would keep a clean sheet, but to get an own goal, it knocks the confidence a lot, and it's proving tough to keep the goals out of Brighton's net, to be honest, and Brighton need to pick it up. I think they will. I think they will find a way in the end. De Zerbi will be pushing and pushing and pushing to get this defence tight, but they need to start looking at it. Liverpool next, and they play Brentford. I said Liverpool to win 2-0. That actually finished 3-0. Mo Salah gets a double in this game. The first one coming in the first half with a nice team goal, nice few passes. I can't remember who passed it to Nunez, but Nunez passes it to Salah, and Salah gets the goal in the bottom corner. Great, like, bit of football, passing around. Just proves that Liverpool are playing very, very well, and are slowly creeping up this league table without people realising how close they actually are to the top. And I think people will actually start thinking they're contenders now. Salah again, second goal, back post, header, easy finish. He stood there after it and just ended up going. It is what it is. Yeah, goal in the back of the net, and it couldn't get any easier, really. And I think he's one of the top goal scorers again now in the league. So well done to Salah. Endo ended up getting a red card in this game. This was the studs up one, showing with his studs up, and it was definitely a red card in my opinion. right into the shins. Yeah, players wear shin pads, but there's no need to have your studs up in a slide tackle like that. And right decision, but it didn't change the game because Jota managed to get a third goal with a great strike from the edge of the box and put it in the top corner. And big 3 points for Liverpool. Like I say, a lot closer than many people think to the top of that league. I think it might put them second as well. So obviously you'll see at the end of the video what I think of that and what the table actually looks like. Next game, West Ham versus Forest. This one finished 3-2 to West Ham, and it was a better game than most people thought it would have been. Back and forth. West Ham actually took the lead with Paqueta goal in the 3rd minute. Forest then got a goal with Awoniyi, however you pronounce his name, just before half-time, which made it 1-1 going into half-time. So give Forest a bit of confidence. Forest took that confidence into the second half, and Elanga, one of the old United players, showing what he can actually do on a pitch, and he goes and gets the second goal for Forest. I think that's his 3rd or 4th goal this season for Forest, playing very, very well, proving to be quite a key player for Forest as well this season. So can he keep it up? We'll only see what happens. But in this game though, Forest couldn't keep the confidence up, and West Ham quickly equalised with Bowen, and that made it 2-2. Just for Souček to finish the game off in the 88th minute, giving West Ham a big 3 points, and it finishing 3-2. And unlucky for Forest, they put up a fight, but it weren't enough for West Ham. And as I mentioned on the preview, David Moyes' job is safe right now, because it looked like he was going to struggle, and he's got the 3 points that he needed, because there was talk that he might lose his job if he didn't get them. So he got those 3 points, and now it looks like he's going to be safe for another long time. On to the next game. It is Chelsea versus Manchester City. As I said at the beginning of the video, Chelsea are now the entertainers of this league. They put up a good game, and they were actually the better side in this game, especially in terms of squad-like performance, because City's defence was flat, nothing to them at all, just not good enough, and you don't see that often with City's defence. I said City would win this 4-1. I got the 4 goals right because it finished 4-4, so they both got 4 each and got a point each. Wow, what a game. What can I say about that one? City weren't great, like I say, but Haaland got the first goal with a penalty. Was it questionable? Yes. Did he go down easy? Yes. But he was brought down in the box, and it was given. So, like I say, Haaland put that one away. Then Thiago Silva, the Brazilian centre-back for Chelsea, got a goal back with 1-1. Then Sterling puts Chelsea 2-1 up. Obviously, Sterling's the next Manchester City player, and he will be happy to get that goal. And he seems to be having a good season, Sterling. I think he's the best player for Chelsea in terms of form and quality. But obviously, we'll get on to the next player later on, because there's another player in there that seems to be performing at the moment. But as for the game itself, Akanji then gets the equaliser for Manchester City just before half-time. Again, we've talked about getting confidence before these half-time goals, and City then took that confidence into the second half. Within minutes of the second half, Haaland goes and gets 3-2, makes it 3-2 to City, and City are back on the front foot until Nicholas Jackson's got on the score sheet again, and he makes it 3-3, and it looks like it might just finish on 1 point each here, and both teams go home happy until Rodri comes up with a typical Rodri goal to make it 4-3 in like the 88th minute or something, or 86th minute. And well, something like that. I can't remember the time minute, to be honest. I'm trying to make it up on the spot. But Rodri comes up, edge of box, bang, top corner. Always does it every time. If he's open at the edge of that box, he scores that every single time he shoots that. I think that's how they won the Champions League, innit? Or the treble in general. So, Rodri, you don't give him the time on the ball like that. But like I say, that made it 4-3. But the other player that we keep talking about is Palmer. A lot of people are talking about Palmer, and the reason is his confidence, his ability. I'm not a favourite of his. I don't think he's a great player, but he's doing something for Chelsea, and he's one of their most informed players right now. I think he's mainly just scoring the penalties, and that's it. And that's what this one was. It was a penalty and to make it 4-4. But the confidence to take it, the fact he was a Manchester-born player, he's a Manchester City fan. He loves Manchester City in general. Obviously, he wanted more play time. He left, and then he goes and gets that goal within the last minute of the game, near enough. Like, the confidence he must have to take that penalty and put it in the net. Like, there's something about him as a player. He obviously, as for the penalty, was it debatable? No. Like, straight across Diaz, bad tackle, took him right out, and that was game over. They knew that penalty was being given. There was not a chance that VAR was going to overrule that penalty. Diaz was late, and a bit of a stupid tackle to make at that moment in the game, especially when they'd just won the game, basically. But Chelsea got the point, and so did City. Take 2 points off City, and the league's a lot closer than we ever thought it would be. I thought City would run away now, but they haven't. But that's it for the video, guys. Like I said, league table to follow. Please like the video. Please subscribe. I am out of here. Goodbye.